I'd better not wake him. He told me he sat in prison for 15 years for manslaughter because some idiot woke him for something quite trivial. I don't know if it's true, but I am not going to test it. It seems to be a strategic map of the Tunguska region. The arrows look like the movement of troops, but I might also be wrong. An open bottle of orange juice. I'd better not because some I'd better because some Oh, there are the first scientists already. Maybe I can get some information here. However, I should not ask too directly about my father, so that no one becomes suspicious. Surely I can take one slice. Well, I'm sure that owner will be able to spare it. Hello. May I interrupt for a moment?
Not so loud. Dr. Lesniak is working and is really concentrating. We really shouldn't disturb him. Plus, he's in a pretty bad mood.
What happened? Why is the doctor in such a bad mood?
He's under a lot of stress. We are working on a test series, and Professor Sidorkin wants results as quickly as possible.
I understand. And this Professor Sidorkin gets very angry if he doesn't get results quick enough?
Well, he's okay. But Dr. Lesniak is unbelievably ambitious and naturally tries to finish as soon as possible. And when the doctor is stressed out and doesn't have bread and jam, he can become quite unpleasant.
Bread and jam?
Yes, it sounds strange, I know. But he apparently needs it to reduce his stress. Other people beat the heck out of a sandbag. He eats bread and jam.
Well, we all have our own ways and means to deal with difficult situations. And if he gets bread and jam, he gets a bit more sociable?
Yes, it helps. Unfortunately, he accidentally dropped his glass jar on the train platform. And there's no jam here on the train. I've looked everywhere.
I'll be on my way then. If I find any jam, I'll let you know.
That would be great. Working with him when he is in such a bad mood is really not a pleasure.
In you go. I'm sure that will be delicious. Or not delicious. Doesn't matter what else I throw in, it's not going to get any better. Well, what do you know? I should really take part in a cooking competition. I've got something here for you. Perhaps it will help improve your mood.
This is for me?
Yes, you do like bread and jam, don't you? I made it myself, just for you.
I thank you very, very much. Very interesting. You said you made it yourself. Yes, very interesting and very delicious. Thank you. I really needed it. I'm feeling much better already.
I'm very happy that you enjoyed it. Has it helped your mood a little?
Yes, I owe you one. If I can ever return the favor.
Then I'll get back to you. Maybe sooner than you think.
Anytime.
Hello. Are the good mood and the ability to concentrate back in gear?
Yep, I'm doing much better. I know that this obsession with bread and jam doesn't exactly speak well for a reputable scientist. It's just one of my quirks. I simply need it now and then.
Yeah, it's okay. We all have our weaknesses. Also, when some have a huge screw loose. What exactly do you do here?
We are studying the regenerative capabilities of certain plants.
Sounds very interesting. How does that work?
The study?
Yes.
We'll both be old and gray by the time I've explained it. Please don't misunderstand me. I don't think you are stupid. But you can't explain it in 5 minutes.
No, that's fine. You're probably right. Would it disturb you very much if I watched you working? I find all of that absolutely fascinating. I also promise not to ask too many stupid questions and not to interrupt.
All right, but don't touch anything. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Alexei will be happy to explain it to you.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. Are you the only scientists on board this train?
No, not as far as I know. Apparently there are a few on board, but the compartments are separated from one another, and the doors are being guarded by soldiers. That's too bad. It would have been interesting to discuss research results among yourselves. Well, hopefully we'll have enough time for that later.
You have no idea which of your other colleagues are on the train?
No. The only person who has a complete list of the scientists and scientific researchers is Professor Sidorkin.
I'll have to get my hands on this list. Then I'll know for sure if Dad is on the train or not, and exactly where I can find him. Who is this Sidorkin?
Professor Sidorkin? He is my direct superior and the scientific director of the biologists. You don't know him? He's an absolute genius in his field. There's hardly anyone who knows more than he does in the field of molecular biology.
Oh, that must have passed me by. Do you think I could talk with him for a moment?
He's right next door. But if I were you, I wouldn't bother him right now. He's under a lot of stress and is extremely irritable. And when I say extremely irritable, I mean even more irritable than me when I have to go 2 weeks without bread and jam.
Wow, that bad. Then I'll be careful. Why is he so irritable?
There are a few problems, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. I have to go back to work now. You'll excuse me.
If I promise not to stand in the way and not to ask too many stupid questions, can I have a look around?
Sure, but don't touch anything.
Phew, that was close. I have only just saved humanity from the terrible Dr. Jekyll.
Oh, thank you very much. Working with him is now so much more relaxed. I owe you one. So if you have any questions, I unfortunately can't tell you everything. I hope you understand that.
Of course. I'm happy that I can see your work at all. A soldier who interests herself for science, that's not a daily occurrence, is it?
No, and certainly not someone as pretty as you.
Oh, thank you. What you're doing here looks incredibly complicated.
Really? It's actually quite simple. These plant samples were exposed to radiation that is very similar to the radiation in the Tunguska region. At first, the doses were kept rather low, and were then continually increased. I exposed the samples in that device over there to a flame with a constant temperature, and see what remains from the plant.
You burn plants?
Yes, you could say that. We are trying to determine which dosage of radiation no longer leads to the complete deterioration of the cell structure.
Wow, I even understood that.
Well, I deliberately left out 2/3 of the explanations.
Wonderful. Once in my life, I'm proud of my scientific abilities, and you blow the whole illusion apart.
I'm sorry.
What exactly will you be doing at our destination?
You mean in the research station?
Yes, exactly. There. Scientific assistants also seem to be easy to question on an international level. So, it has to do with the research station. Maybe I can squeeze an odd secret or two out of him. What exactly is your task at the station?
Unfortunately, I can't tell you that. Otherwise, the station wouldn't be a secret.
So, it's secret, is it? Very good. Come on, boy, tell me more. Yes, I understand, but perhaps you can tell me something which isn't quite so secret. I have unfortunately little idea about biology and chemistry, but it certainly is fascinating, isn't it?
I can only talk about what Dr. Lesniak and I are supposed to be doing there.
Sure.
A long time ago, they discovered that the plants in the region exhibit abnormal plant growth. It isn't a secret. It was all over the newspapers.
Yes, of course.
And now we are trying to influence this growth in a controlled manner.
Fascinating. And what is the goal?
Unfortunately, I can't say. But imagine if we could arbitrarily manipulate the growth of plants. That would solve the problem of world hunger in one fell swoop.
Wow, that really does sound like a huge goal.
Indeed.
What I wanted to ask you was...
Just a minute. If you can pester me with questions, then I can too.
Oh, yes, of course.
It's nothing personal. So, why have so many soldiers been brought into a prohibited zone?
Prohibited zone?
Yes, in the research station and everything. I mean, with the materials and all the people here, you could wage a small war.
Yes, well, I'm not allowed to talk about that. You scientists have your instructions, and unfortunately, we have ours.
Ah, I understand. I willingly tell you everything about our experiments, and I have one little question and get an answer like that.
I'm sorry. I would love to tell you everything I know, but that is very little anyway. It's nothing personal, but what I do know is top secret.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'll be off then.
Okay, see you later.
Yeah?
Excuse the interruption. Can I speak to you for a moment?
As long as Dr. Lesniak doesn't have a successful breakthrough in his experiments, no.
But
The train can blow up for all I care. I don't want to be disturbed.
it's really...
No!
The door is secured with a huge padlock. If I switch on the light, the nice gentleman there may wake up. I'd better be very careful of him.
Which dumbass turned the light on? If I find out, I'll probably get another 15 years in the slammer.
Oh well, he'll definitely calm down soon. At least, I hope he will. I always thought you couldn't tell if an egg was fresh or not just by looking at it. I have just changed my mind. So, I've got the bottle of castor oil. His dirty books and his smelly underwear I will very generously leave where it is. I think I can say in all confidence that this will be a devastating success. One spoon of that would probably be enough to keep an adult in the bathroom for the rest of the day. I have just realized that I haven't eaten for ages. I should be careful that I don't inadvertently bite into that. Not much water goes into the bottle, but it's better than nothing.
Another bread and jam just for me. That's almost too much of a good thing. Thank you. Oh, I'm not feeling so well. I must have swallowed the jam and bread a little too quickly. Alexei, please continue working here and tell Sidorkin as soon as you have the right result. I've got to go somewhere and fast. Very fast.
A little liquid should be enough. It would look a little suspect if everything here were underwater.
Damn, why do the fuses have to choose to blow now? I have to go replace the fuses. Could you watch to make sure no one touches anything?
Sure, no problem.
Thanks.
I'll take very special care that nobody touches a thing in here, apart from my good self. I'll take the sample out of the glass. I'll take the sample out of the glass. One of the samples that gets I'll take the sample out of the glass. I'll take the sample. What am I going to do with it? I'll just put one inside the other. I can't think of anything else spontaneously.
So hopefully the fuse doesn't blow on me again right away. And in the meantime, I really doubt if I will ever get any surprising results here. What? That can't be! Really? The sample didn't burn up completely? You can see that with the naked eye! I don't even need to do an analysis! I have to tell Dr. Lesniak! And maybe even Professor Sidorkin. This could actually be the big breakthrough! And I had almost stopped believing it would ever happen!
And you are absolutely sure that all the test conditions were controlled and complied with?
I always took random samples and rechecked everything. And I would put my hand into the fire to confirm Alexei's competence. I've worked with him for many years now.
So you performed the experiments. Did you notice anything different?
What kind of difference?
We have to check everything exactly. If the results are correct, it's a sensation. But if we register it as a sensation, and we've made a mistake, then the most we'll get afterward is a job in a natural history museum. So go through everything again slowly. We should look at the analysis together.
I only hope that we didn't miss anything. If the result is really correct, we'll go down in history.
The gentlemen are certainly very enthusiastic about their discovery. I should use this chance to have a look around Sidorkin's office. There won't be much time until this Sidorkin comes back. I'll have a look around his desk first. Maybe I'll find the passenger list at least. The documents are entitled Security Risks and Acute Threats to the Tunguska Project. I'll have a look at that, please. If I understand this correctly, in the last few years, several attacks have been carried out on official and secret research facilities. Documents were partly destroyed, but the culprits also do not seem to shy away from bomb attacks and arson either. Eyewitnesses report seeing men in black robes. It has not been possible for the authorities to capture any of the perpetrators. Then the Secret Service FSB was entrusted with this matter, but has not been able to produce any solid results in their investigations. The assumption that this is the work of political terrorists could not be confirmed. That the attacks are being carried out by a religiously motivated sect is also being considered. I wonder if they are the same men in black robes that Eddie apparently saw and was babbling about. If all that's true, then Daddy has got bigger problems than I feared. It's huge. That's not normal. That must be genetically engineered. Some kind of scientific report about molecular biology. It's nearly all formulae, and those few words are just as incomprehensible. The drawer is secured with a very simple, but unfortunately, a very effective lock. The piece of paper reads, "Place all documents in the safe each time you leave the room. Signed, W.I.L." If this safe has the employee list in it, then I should have a better look round here. Maybe I can find out exactly what is going on in Tunguska and what Daddy's got to do with it. I've looked at the documents once, and there's no more time to check again. Sidorkin could come back any minute. Tunguska Project. Error analysis is written on these files. 2000 to 2003 at the top, and at the bottom it begins with 2004. There's not very much I can do with these in the time I have.
I thought so. The little toad is a snoop. I noticed you in Moscow at the train station, and not in a good way. Toads remain toads, even when they are wearing clothes. But don't worry. We're going to take care of you now.
What is Kansky doing here in the middle of the night? Maybe I'm wrong, but I have a really bad feeling about him. I should definitely make sure he doesn't catch me. He probably hasn't forgotten the big bump on the back of his head yet. Finally, an answer to my question. I'm curious to see what my Irish colleague has found out.
Hi, Max. It took a little while, but the information you wanted wasn't so easy to get. It was a good thing you sent me the original letter. But I'll tell you more later. For starters, let's talk about the Irish company and the letterhead. This company used to belong to a man named Ken Morangi, and had something to do with plant fertilizer. The company was suddenly closed down, even though business was going pretty good. I unfortunately couldn't find out anything more about it either. Since then, Morangi lives like a hermit on a small island on the coast of Ireland. I've attached a map along with the mail. But now to an even more interesting story. I took a closer look at the letter you sent me. It isn't as empty as it looks at first glance. It apparently uses some kind of invisible ink. Not very imaginative, but it's apparently sufficient enough for people like you. Here are the contents of the letter. I hope you can understand it. Hello, Vladimir. Receive the documents. Copy is underway. We still have to settle the question of the handover. Ken, P.S. The whiskey is still waiting.
Wow, that sure does sound mysterious. Maybe this Morangi knows something that could help us. I'd better tell Nina. I wonder what she's doing right now. Hopefully she's doing okay. I'm really worried about her.
Damn. It is not my day today. First I sit with a bowel-sick psychopath in a train compartment, and now with a rabid dog. I've got to get out of here again quickly. As soon as we reach the next bigger village, they want to hand me over to the authorities. That would be the end of my search, and probably the end of me. There's a cuddly little lapdog in there playing with his little bone. Isn't he cute? The dog seems to prefer the left half of the cage. I'll take myself a piece. Locked. To not break the glass, I must lay it carefully into the cage. Doing that, I cannot avoid putting my hand very close to the dog. Give me a knife. I'd rather chop my own hand off. So, he should be busy for a while. If I stick the flat side in the flap and then lever it open. There is a vacuum cleaner bag in there. I'll take it out. Do I have to rummage around in that? Yes, I suppose I probably do. Above this hatch, freedom must be endless. Hopefully no one heard that. Otherwise, my problems are about to increase. The edges of the skylight are full of glass slivers. I wouldn't feel too good about holding on there. I could get onto the roof that way, as long as I don't slash an artery on those broken bits of glass. Phew, that was close.
Okay, let's try this again. If anyone has information about any scientists on board, then it is this Sidorkin guy. In his function as the scientific leader, he must have hidden the information somewhere.
Open. I thought Comrade Lenin went out of fashion years ago. A statue. The statue has clicked into position. I thought Comrade Lenin went out of fashion years ago. Oh, I can turn the statue, but I can't pick it up. It seems to be anchored to the plinth. Apparently, the right orientation of the statues triggered a secret mechanism. Soundproofed walls, and then this chair. Are they torturing people in here? A book about the notorious pirate Bale Schmidt, who initially made life very difficult for the patricians and later for the colonists near Port Royal. Pretty. It sounds like a mechanism has been triggered, but I cannot see any changes. The mechanism in the bookshelf has opened the flap, but there is nothing in there. Strange. Very, very strange. I'll take the skull with me, but I won't walk carrying a complete human skeleton. Wow, that was close. I managed to survive an assassination attempt in my father's apartment and the guys from the Secret Service, only to be almost killed by a picture. Life can be strange, can't it? What sort of strange lock is that? If I understand this correctly, I should try turning all the lights off. If I understand this correctly, if I understand this correctly, I... Done. Hopefully the contents are worth the effort and I eventually get to find out where Daddy is.
Loads and loads of documents. This damn list of personnel has to be somewhere around. Ah, here.
It is definitely divided up into scientists, military, and Secret Service.
It lists more than 100 names in the train alone, and well over 1,000 in the research station. What exactly are they all doing?
Whatever it is, I've got to find out if Daddy is on board the train.
Well then, let's see. After some of the names, there is a cross. Are they all dead? I can only hope that the marks have another meaning.
Daddy's not on the list, though. Not on the train, and not at the research station either.
Does that calm me down or worry me? At least they haven't dragged him off to Russia, but therefore my only good lead has cooled right down.
I'll have to look at the other documents. Who knows? It might help a little further. Here is a file with the title Tunguska Project. I ought to have a look at that. A whole load of formulae and loads of scientific stuff. I'll be old before I understand that.
What? What's that? There is something written here about a Kalenkov report. It really does seem to be from Daddy. He proved in 1976 that the object found in the Tunguska region is of alien origin. On the strength of this report, the government gave the green light to the extension of the research station to carry out experiments on the fragment without any public interference. These experiments led to the discovery that it was possible to influence the behavior of animals when certain radiation fields are modified by the fragment.
After that, the Tunguska Project was called into life to improve the technology. Then there are pages and pages of test results. They must have done thousands of experiments on animals. Only, what is the goal? What are they promising themselves? Does it have any military use?
Oh, hello, Oleg. I hope you have good news. What? And Nina? Is she okay? Damn it, how could that have happened? I thought you were gonna keep an eye on her. No, I don't want to calm down. I made that mistake once already, and the result... Yeah, okay. Where exactly? Okay, I'm on my way.
So, if Sedley's information is correct, then this would have to be the military hospital where they brought Nina.
I hope Nina is all right. How could a complete train derail?
They think it was an attack, but for now we should not care about that. You have to get Nina out of there.
Who, me?
Yes. Alone you have a better chance of not being discovered. It was a miracle that we got this far without problems. I mean, I gave the research station an extra wide berth, but this close to it, I almost counted on being caught by the military.
Okay, and so now, how do I get in there?
Start thinking.
Great, but thanks a lot anyway for the lift here. Without you, I would never have found it.
No problem. It was a pleasure. You were pretty worried about Nina, aren't you?
Yes, hopefully nothing has happened to her.
You really like her, don't you?
Yes. Nothing that wonderful has ever happened to me before.
Hey, wake up, boy. You can dream after you get Nina out of there.
Yes, you're right.
So, let's move. We don't have a lot of time. I'll wait here in case you need help somehow. Oh, don't forget, Nina has been traveling under the name of Perkova, and probably has been admitted under that name. And now, good luck.
Thanks. I will probably need it too.
Yeah?
What do I say now? Hello, I'm taking a vacation in the area and just happened to come by here. It looks wonderful. Is it very old, Shirley? Can I have a bit of a closer look at the house, please?
What?
I'm a great fan of buildings and architecture out of the Tsar period.
Otherwise, everything's still okay, right? This is a hospital, not a museum.
That doesn't matter. I only want to have a look at it. I won't need very long. There aren't very many interesting buildings around here for a tourist.
It's not my fault you wanted to spend your vacation in the sticks. In any case, you can't come in here unless you're a doctor or about to die. Now leave me alone. I want to finish watching the soccer game.
He switched off the intercom. All that stuff about the architecture tourist does not belong among my best ideas. I'll have to remember for the next time I'm in such a situation that art does not bring me very far. My doctor always said I should eat more fruit. Well, maybe picking more fruit is a good start. Now I've got a carrier bag full of holes and horrible red stains. And what if something happens?
Nothing is going to happen. I am going to wait here, and if the alarm sounds, Plan B will go into effect.
And what is Plan B?
I am going to think about that at the appropriate time. And now, make sure you get in there.
Here, tie this around the hand with the missing fingers. Maybe we can fool the medic into thinking you've only just lost them, if he doesn't look too closely. It really seems to be an ambulance. The writing on it is in Russian. I can't read it, but there's a phone number next to it. 03112. I hope my plan works. Hello. My friend is badly hurt. I think he's lost a couple of fingers. Yes, I'm standing here at the bus stop in front of the hospital. Please, send someone out quickly. I think he's bleeding to death. Yes, but please, hurry. I now only hope that Oleg's acting qualities are sufficient enough to convince the ambulance driver of his story. Well, now I'm in the courtyard. Now I just have to find Nina. Empty syringes, soiled bandages, and a finger. I wonder if Oleg would... No, I'd better not. Something is casting these shadows. Something very, very close. There's a key in the lamp. It's a strange hiding place, but better than putting it under the doormat. It should work with that. It fits. And into the lion's den. Hopefully no one's in the cellar. A dictation machine. Maybe there's a recording of Nina on it.
Patient 1835, severe psychological and neural problems, currently in a coma. During the observation period, the patient exhibited symptoms such as optical and acoustic hallucinations, reflexive muscle contractions, and incontinence. Patient also exhibited psychogenic reactions, temporary amnesia, partial facial paralysis, and spots in front of the eyes. Damage to the temporal lobe caused by external influences, fracture of the right wrist, various contusions, and hematomas in the area of the head and arms. Apart from some of the external injuries, the patient exhibits similar symptoms as the other patients. The report must be completed as soon as possible and faxed to Moscow.
Damn, the batteries are running right down. That sounds terrible. What does "as with the other patients" mean? Does it mean that these behavioral and consciousness problems appear on a lot of people? If yes, why? What is the cause? I'll have to tell Nina about that, because something here is not right. I don't know what it is, but I definitely don't like it. Not at all. There are medical records in here, all sorted alphabetically. Maybe I can find out what they did to Nina. K, Koch, Kaio, Cam. No records on Nina. Wait, Oleg said she was traveling under a false name, something with P. Perkova. So let's have a look. P. Pow. Perez. Perez Manuel. Wasn't he the one who went on the Tunguska expedition with Nina's father? And he was here too? That's very interesting. I should have a look at that. If my rudimentary medical knowledge isn't fooling me, there's something here about extreme behavioral and consciousness disturbances. Perez's behavior obviously showed such strange symptoms unrecorded in any known illness. That was ages ago. In the meantime, research should have... It looks like they tried to find out about the illness by carrying out experiments on him. Through the cranium without an anesthetic. That's ghastly. Electroshocks, straitjacket, shock therapy. That reads like a torture report out of the Middle Ages. But the poor guy seems to have survived it. Then, a few weeks ago, he was sent back to his home country after an application from a certain Dr. Nicole Charlois to a small suburb of San Cristobal west of Havana. It looks like he obviously resisted so violently that they had to give him the double doses of phenylcyclidine piperidine. I believe that sedative has been forbidden for a while now. That's strange. Perez has been here for almost 30 years, and suddenly they're shipping him off to Cuba? And Nina's father disappears without a trace shortly thereafter. I would be astonished if there wasn't a connection, but what could it be? If I'm not mistaken, one of these bottles contains that stuff Perez was sedated with in it. I still can't identify the rest. I'll have to be careful not to touch the needle. Conditions like these would cause hospitals to shut down completely. At least I hope so. I can hear voices. As long as I don't know what to expect on the other side, I'm not touching this door.
Can't do anything about that, but you're missing out. It's a really good game. I just wish the satellite dish wasn't so sensitive. I have to keep adjusting it. Hopefully, it won't be as windy as yesterday. I couldn't really see anything properly. No, you can forget that. Just be happy that the broad is in a deep sleep at least and not constantly on a rampage. Yep, and 3 more days up in that damp room, then our doctors have more work to do. No, you better stay up there. There's hardly anyone here, but in case someone should surface, there'll be another uproar about people leaving posts and so on. Not to worry. The head physician won't even notice that I'm more occupied with the TV during my shift than with making rounds. I'm keeping an eye on the entrance. If he doesn't come crawling through the basement, I'll notice him in time no matter what. Yep, will do. Till then. And don't go hunting rats again. The doc is still sour about the bullet holes.
A damp room somewhere on the upper floors. At least now I know where Nina is being held. But it's a little inconvenient that there are at least 2 guards there. I have got to get into contact with Nina somehow. Perhaps she's got an idea how to get rid of them. It doesn't look like a typical ambulance, more like a military vehicle. But what is it doing this far away from civilization? Hardly the newest model, but it fulfills its purpose. Don't believe that just walking in is a good idea. Don't... I can hear really loud snoring. And groans, something about a train, explosions, and Daddy. Now... Wait a minute, that sounds like Nina! The pipe seems to lead into the room where she's being held. Nina, hey, wake up! Nina! No. Damn, she seems to be a heavy sleeper. She can't hear me. That penetrating smell might just take care of waking Nina up. Ugh, it stinks to hell down here now. That does not help me at all. Maybe the small ventilator is powerful enough to blow this ammonia stink into Nina's cell. Gotta be worth a try.
Ugh, what a terrible smell. Doesn't that contravene all the rules of the Geneva Convention?
I'm very happy that you're all right.
Max?
Who else? Or were you expecting someone special?
To tell you the truth, I wasn't prepared for a surprise visit. I should tidy up a bit here first. And let some air in. Did you send me this revolting smell in here?
Yes, there was no other way to wake you up. By the way, you snore and talk in your sleep.
If you mention that to anyone at all, you are a dead man.
Don't worry, but we have to get you out of there first.
Good idea. Do you have a plan?
No, not really.
Then now is the time to come up with one. I'll get myself tidied up in the meantime. The fact that the hero rescues the princess and she looks like something the cat dragged in was never part of any story that I have read.
The people should be working, not watching TV.
Damn it! The stupid satellite dish needs adjusting again.
The sweet smell of decomposition is the only reminder of what was once in here, whatever that might have been. And I lay on that thing. Ugh. The wall doesn't make a very solid impression. However, getting out of here would probably take days. That has seen better days. This chair leg is only made out of plastic, but I still can't break it off. I'm not reaching in there. I don't really want to know what is scrabbling around in there. Pull it once over this sharp edge and the work of many evenings goes to the dogs. Ooh, if my grandmother would see that. The wall doesn't make a very solid impression. The thread is not all that strong if a part breaks off when I tie a knot. The stone seems to have hit the bottom. Now I can exchange a few smaller objects with Max. I can talk. So now the last leg is off too. Don't you go walking away. Take that, scourge of every health authority.
Don't believe that just walking in is a good idea. I'll take the back of the syringe off. The needle and its attachment should then be light enough for me to use it as a dart in my blowpipe. And if I touch this needle now, our little adventure will come to a pretty fast end. If I attack the guard, he'll still be able to run from the room and raise an alarm. I shouldn't risk it. The guard is desperately trying to readjust the satellite dish. If I attack the guard... Don't believe it just... A heavy safety door. It only seems to open from one side.
Crap. How did that happen?
That guy is making a hell of a noise. I'll have to get him to shut up very quickly. I think that with such a hectic job, a little bit of peace won't hurt the guard.
Ouch! What was that?
So, I'm rid of him for now. I'll take the thumbtacks with me, but the bulletin board can stay where it is. The soup is so watery that I'll lose most of it moving around, and then I'll stink of cheese for the rest of my life. The sponge sucks itself full of soup. So, this is where the second guard is sitting. I almost landed in his lap. One more step and he'll notice me. I've got to think of something to distract him. There's no way I'll get past him. I've got to get rid of him somehow. I'd better do some... Either a live broadcast from the Antarctic, or the effects of adjusting the satellite dish. A heavy...
Looks like it could work as a trap. Stress on the could. If it is really true that mice and rats like cheese, then this aromatic piece of foam rubber must be the perfect bait. The big game hunt can begin. Then let's have a look and see what we've caught.
Don't believe it just... Run! Run as fast as you can and keep the guard busy for as long as you can. Good luck.
Just you wait, you little beast! I'll get you!
I'll put this thumbtack under the cushion so that the guard doesn't get suspicious.
Damn! That rat just slipped away from me! But wait, I'll get you next time! Ah! Spivak, you're a rat as well! But I'll get you too!
All is quiet. I hope the dose was strong enough. A bunch of keys.
I'm really happy to see you, and thanks for...
My pleasure, noble princess. Come on now, we have to go.
I'll just get my things together. Hopefully those guys haven't grabbed everything. Thanks, you two. I would hate to think what would have happened if you hadn't come along.
You don't have to, but we wouldn't let you rot anywhere in the sticks.
I knew that I could rely on you.
Anytime. If I had to, then I would even...
Could you postpone the niceties until later? We should get going. The people in the hospital are bound to notice your absence soon.
Yeah, I'm ready. Although...
What?
We must be really close to where my father used to set up camp on his earlier expeditions. Am I right?
Yes, that's true. But we really don't have any time for that. The hospital belongs to the Russian military, and when they sound the alarm, it will get extremely uncomfortable around here. We should first get out of here, and think about how we want to proceed along the way.
But...
No buts. The risk of landing here in the first place was already big enough. We are going. Max, I need your help to get the airplane ready for liftoff.
Oleg is right. We've got to get away from here first, and then we'll see what happens. Go on, get your things out of the Jeep and come.
Attention! Attention! An alarm has gone off in the neighboring military hospital. A female patient who is considered extremely dangerous has escaped. The military has been notified and several soldiers are on their way here. Until they arrive, no one is allowed to leave the airfield. Everyone is ordered to be on high alert. No one will be permitted to take off or land.
Damn, they're looking for me already. What now? We'll meet here in a few hours!
I hope you have good news.
Unfortunately, no. Kalenkov is still missing.
I'm waiting for the good news.
Well, at least the others haven't found him yet either.
We are running out of time. The preparations for the project are almost finished and everyone is waiting for you to finally find the missing piece of the puzzle.
I'm doing my best. What should I do if...
Concentrate on his past.
Hopefully Max and Oleg are all right. I suppose they weren't born yesterday. They'll get along with the soldiers somehow. And exactly how are we going to get away from here again, I don't yet know. We can brainstorm that later. In the meantime, I can try to find the camp from which my father started his expeditions. The thing is, where do I look? Apart from this tent, I have found no signs of human existence. Hopefully I can get some help here. A small plug stuck in the barrel. I am not driving away from here until I have found out something at least that throws a little light on Daddy's kidnapping. I am not driving.
It's a pity that civilization has progressed even into deepest Russia.
First aid? Only first aid for alcoholics. 1 bottle of vodka and nothing else. No bandages, no painkillers. Apart from the vodka, of course. A beautiful animal. Wouldn't it make a wonderful bedside rug? The fur is quite soft. It would definitely... Don't look at me like that, or I'll put my thoughts into action. Sorry for simply barging in like this, but I'm looking for...
Medicine. Parchment. Burnt.
What? Which parchment? And what kind of medicine? I don't understand.
The old guy seems to be in a kind of semi-conscious state. I'm not at all sure if he can even hear me. Obviously, he needs some kind of medication. I'll take a look around.
The fire hasn't completely destroyed the parchment, but it is pretty charred and brittle. One of those things comprising of 3 billion threads. They all look as if they're about to fall apart. I'll be very careful that...
One of the threads has come loose. I don't need any more of them, so I'll leave the tassels where they are.
A strange creature with its mouth open. It seems to be some type of nutcracker. The trough is empty. Clearly, nobody seems to take very good care of the animals. Then I'll get on with my favorite hobby and start destroying things. And this is all that this spade and I leave over from the case. The tree is ancient. It must have survived the catastrophe undamaged, but that was 100 years ago. Only the bark is flaking off. But that would happen to me after a century as well. The tree... I definitely won't fell the tree with that. I'll limit myself to the bark. That poor animal is drinking as if there were no tomorrow. Good idea. I'll take the cup and reach into the steam. After a few seconds, my arm is perfectly done and ready to serve.
A failed and abandoned attempt to plant and raise a tomato plant known to the biologist as Solanum lycopersicum. For others, love or paradise apple, a member of the nightshade family. What should I do with this drought victim?
Siberian gentian leek seems to be the only plant that flowers around here. I have no idea if it is under protection, but it is so pretty that I would really like to make an exception and leave it in one piece. A sharp stone. Not really the superlative in whetstones, but these scissors can't get any blunter. And how's that? It now cuts more than butter.
Easy there, boy.
If I take the spoon, the hairs, and this thread, and Hey! It works! Good idea. I'll take the cup and reach into the steam. After a few seconds, my arm is perfectly done and ready to serve. Good idea. Resin at the bottom, water on top, and cup surrounding it all. I'm not putting my hand into... I'm not putting...
A fail?
Good idea. I'll take the cup and reach into the steam. After a few seconds, my arm is perfectly done and ready to serve. If I touch that stuff, I'll never get it off. These bits of... If I paint the resin very carefully over the parchment pieces... It worked! 5 parts of the source of life, 2 parts of root of tears, 1 part blood of the night, 3 parts drops of intoxication, to be taken shortly before it unites with the wind. What effect it is supposed to have isn't noted, just as much as how to get each ingredient. Hey, old man, wake up. Is this the recipe for your medicine? It really does seem to be the recipe. The old guy wants me to prepare it in this vial. I'll have to hurry preparing his medicine. He's not going to hold out for much longer. Five parts from the source of life. Got it. I know. They're under the protection of nature conservation laws. I'll be very careful. What should I do with this drought victim? A failed and abandoned attempt to plant and raise a tomato plant. Well, that must be the right doses, depending, of course, on the bulb being meant as the root of tears. Ketchup is made of tomatoes. Tomatoes belong to the nightshade family. That could be the connection to the blood of the night reference. I'll try it. a few drops of the intoxication. Hopefully this witch's brew doesn't blow up in my face. I have no idea when the stuff is ready, but before it all evaporates... Evaporate! That's it! To be taken before it unites with the wind. Then the medicine must be finished. Drink, old man. I hope that helps.
Thanks.
My pleasure. What happened?
A little difference of opinion with the guards.
Guards? From the research station?
Yes, Oh, it's not important.
Not so important. You nearly died.
But I'm alive. And you aren't just here to help me, are you? You have some questions.
Yes. How did you know?
Your eyes betray you. The eyes betray everyone. And your eyes. I know your eyes. They were here once a long time ago.
Me? I was most certainly not.
Yes, they were. But they weren't in the body of a young woman. You're the daughter of... What was his name again?
Vladimir Kalenkow? You know my father?
Yes, Vladimir was his name. He came to me back then like you are today, with the same eyes.
I need your help. If you knew my father, then you can also tell me what happened here all those years ago.
I'm only a shepherd. I've always been a shepherd, and I will remain a shepherd for the rest of my life.
But...
I know my place in life, and you should know yours too. Listen to the words of a simple man. My son didn't listen to me.
What do you mean?
You want to know what happened here almost 50 years ago, and what is happening here today. My son was also curious. He didn't want to listen to me. He found a strange piece of metal in the woods, and he asked questions. The wrong questions to the wrong people. I never saw him again. There are things that we are just not meant for. If we don't realize this...
Old man, your words may be very wise, but my father is in danger and I need your help.
I know. I can see it in your eyes. You really are just like your father. I also warned him, but he didn't want to listen to me either. He entered the cursed realm of the Ugdi, the evil thunderbirds that have been sent to cause endless sickness since the year of the great catastrophe. Your father ignored my warning, and his companion must have paid dearly for it. I know that I cannot stop you, so I will tell you where your father had his camp back then. Follow the northern path until you reach the swamps, and you will find what you are looking for. But always remember my words. Be careful in everything you do. Things happen here that no one can even begin to imagine.
The Evink was right. The atmosphere here is real strange. So unreal.
Even if perhaps a good portion of superstition is involved, I have a strange feeling here. And then the story with the thunderbirds and the endless sickness. Pull yourself together, Nina. You're just exhausted. There are no thunderbirds, and any phenomenon, no matter how mysterious, can be explained rationally.
hopefully...
That must be the site that the old man spoke of. My father started his expeditions from here. Maybe I'll find an explanation here of how the events of the past link with the kidnapping of my father. I should probably watch out where I'm stepping. One false step could be my last one. An 8mm film projector. Considering its age and the fact that it's not professionally handled here, it is not in bad condition. There is nothing special to see, but then again, it is pitch black in there. Inside, the windows are almost clean. As an obedient little housewife, of course I know what my duties are. There, finished. Shall I make dinner now as well? That must be a tributary of the stony Tunguska. It's not the river's fault, but I'm starting to hate that name. Wow, what a monster! I have to ask, even if I'm talking to myself, how did that thing get here? This has been plundered. Everything that can be taken off and carried is gone. There are only 2 small nuts here, and I am having them. I've hung the hose into the tank. I've hung the hose. There's still plenty of vodka in there. If I want the one spirit, I think I will have to get rid of the other. Nastarovia!
Oops. I think I'm a bit out of practice.
That must be the research station that the transit train was supposed to be going to. Has it even arrived there at all? The research station is certainly impressive. It even has its own runway. And probably just as impressively secured. I can forget getting in there. I'm not even sure that I want to go in anyway. After all, I have heard and read about this station and the place it was built on. Anyway, the station does radiate a certain fascination. Not a positive one, and the longer I look, the more I get the shivers. I'd better make my way back. There's a lot to do, and I still don't know what secret out of Daddy's past is concealed here. The whole station looks like out of a science fiction movie. Hardly believable, considering that it has been here for several decades. Will its secret ever be revealed to me? The river drops about 30 meters here. It's a very impressive sight. That's what I call quality craftsmanship. Over 50 years old, and it still works like it did when it came out of the factory. If I remember correctly, then that thing has something to do with magnetism and producing electricity. The rag is soaked through. I'll light the lamp. I would never have dreamed that one day I would clean out a chimney from the inside. Now that the suit is off, I can see numbers written on it. 7.5, 3, 10.5, 6. A bit of I'll hold both nuts close to the coils, but not too close, otherwise I'll be toast. As a result, they seem to have become magnetized. A small metal pin. That's strange. Obviously, the compass needle only moves when I press the button. I seem to have triggered a mechanism, but nothing has happened yet. A secret compartment. There are a few old documents and a roll of film in there. I'll have a look at the documents. Maybe my father left them there. Yes, indeed. He describes that the 1958 expedition apparently could not provide an explanation why the plant growth has changed so much here since the catastrophe of 1908. The discovery of a meteorite, hoped for by the government as a cause of the devastating explosion, also did not materialize. For this reason, neither my father in his function as the leader of the expedition, nor the biologist, Ken Morangi, could provide an unambiguous conclusion, which obviously was not regarded favorably by the authorities. Oh, and they are also briefly mentioning Oleg here, but apparently he was not that important. I guess I'd better not tell him that. Years later, in his function as a geologist at the Academy of Sciences in Moscow, my father examined a strange piece of metal that had been found in the Tunguska region. He then was able to prove its non-terrestrial origins, which breathed new life into the meteorite theory. However, upon further analysis, he and his colleague Manuel Perez discovered traces that indicated that the metal had been worked. When they wanted to publish their discovery in the Kalenkov Expert, it was completely, surprisingly, rejected, and they were forbidden any further examination of the rock. When my father continued to inquire about the happenings in the Tunguska region, he was dismissed from the Academy of Sciences. The last entries are from 1977. Obviously, he and Manuel Perez went to the Tunguska region on their own. They hoped to find additional fragments of that strange material so they could continue their studies. What the goal was and what happened isn't written down in here. In addition, I have this burning desire to know what is going on with this fragment. On the one hand, it's probably not of terrestrial origin, but on the other hand, it was processed. That would mean
The old Evink also said something about his son finding some metal fragment in the woods and then suddenly disappearing. That would fit in with the fact that my father was even thrown out of the Academy of Sciences due to his analysis. I hope that I will find some more answers on that roll of film. Empty. Damn, the bulb has burned out. It's not possible to just pop around to the shops and get another around this place. So now is the time to think of something else. I've wrapped the tinfoil around the broken glass. Yep, that should work. Since it's rather dark in here, the light reflected by my modified glass shard should do it.
So, Manuel, the camera's rolling.
Please excuse me for a moment. I'll be right back.
Manuel!
What was that? Lightning? Or sheet lightning? And what happened to this Manuel Perez? That sounded like an explosion. I should see what's going on. Looks as if half the station exploded.
Come on, come on! Move your asses! The intruders have to be around here somewhere. We'll get them. Spread out.
Oh, my head. What was that? Feels like someone sifted through my thoughts.
There's someone up there. Get them!
Damn. I have to get away from here. Thanks. That was close.
No problem. I told you that I would catch you if you were ever standing on the edge of a precipice. What happened? We just saw that some areas of the research station were in flames, and suddenly there were soldiers everywhere.
I don't know much more either. Suddenly, two strange figures appeared in front of me out of nowhere.
From the FSB?
No, they weren't agents. I'm not really sure. This may sound kind of stupid, but I'm not even sure if they were human.
What?
I don't know how I should describe it. It was more like a feeling that I got from them.
What did they want? Did they say anything?
They didn't really speak. It was more like voices inside my head. It was as if they were looking for an answer.
What kind of answer?
I don't know how to describe the feeling. It was as if my head was going to explode. I've never experienced pain like that. And then suddenly, I knew that I wanted to tell them everything. It was suddenly so clear.
You told them everything?
No. Before I could say anything, the soldiers came and the two figures disappeared as suddenly as they appeared. Where are we flying to anyway?
In the meantime, Sergei has found out that your father was never in Moscow. So it almost looks as if the entire trip was pretty much in vain.
No, on the contrary. I'm now sure that my father was kidnapped for some reason that has to do with the Tunguska catastrophe.
How come?
I found some of my father's old documents. If I haven't misunderstood them, he was on the trail of something big. And I have a name, Manuel Perez. He was with my father back then, and we also know approximately where he is now.
Yes, in a mental institution on Cuba. Great lead.
It's gotta be worth a try. And there's another name on the list. This Irish biologist, Ken Morangi.
That's right. I know that I have already asked a lot from you two, and am deeply indebted to you. And I would understand...
Stop rambling. What's your plan? You're heading to Cuba and I'm heading to Ireland?
You'd really do that?
You can pay me back some other time. For example, by buying me a cup of hot coffee.
Max, you're a sweetheart.
And don't you ever forget it.
Oleg, I'm not usually like that. But what should I do? Besides you two, I don't have anyone who could help me. And if my father...
It's okay. We enjoy helping you, honestly. So don't worry about us. Concentrate on your dad.
Yeah, okay. We already found the psychiatric hospital. I only hope that this Perez is still here.
Why shouldn't he? But first I have to take care of some formalities. Will you be okay without me?
Sure. I can manage the 20 yards to the reception desk by myself. Go on. I'll be all right.
Okay. See you later.
Good afternoon. I'm looking for the sanatorium under the palms. Am I in the right place?
Good afternoon to you, too. Yes, as far as the name is concerned, you're in the right place.
As far as the name is concerned?
Well, it's the same with institutions as it is with political parties. The name isn't always the main concern.
How come? There are a bunch of palm trees here, aren't there?
Sure, there are palm trees here, but let's leave it at that. I've already said too much. How can I help you?
Oh, come on. What's going on here? What isn't right?
Nothing. I mean everything. Oh, it doesn't matter. What do you want?
That's a shame. I'm looking for a man named Manuel Perez. He's supposedly a patient here.
Ah, yes, could be. I don't know the patients. Go to reception on the left side. I'm sure someone can help you there. And if I can offer you a word of advice, be careful.
What? Why?
Just because. You look like you could use the warning, but be that as it may, I have to go back to my painting. Good luck.
You paint during your shift?
Yeah, sure. If there's nothing to do, I paint a couple of pictures. Some of them are then hung up in the clinic.
Is there really that little to do?
What do you think? We don't exactly have concerts or events where thousands of people line up the night before. I've been working here for 2 years, and you are, if I haven't miscounted, you are the third visitor.
Oh. What do you usually paint?
Everything, really. Although, if I have to be honest, everything isn't necessarily a lot. At some point, you just run out of ideas when you can only paint from one position. So far, I've painted lots of palm trees, blades of grass, and even butterflies in various positions. I'm starting to get sick of it. I paint extra slow, you know. I used to paint a picture in 30 minutes. Now I take 30 hours, just to postpone the problem of choosing the next subject for the picture.
Well, then I wish you... What should I wish for?
Wish that we have a thunderstorm. Maybe some of the palm trees will fall down, and then I would have something new to paint.
Okay. Then I wish you have a thunderstorm.
Thanks. And if you happen to run across a great idea, then please let me know.
A little while ago, you said that something wasn't right with this institution.
Me? No, I never said that.
But...
The weather is beautiful today, isn't it?
Yes, it's gorgeous. I understand. I'll leave you alone with your muse now.
Thanks. I'm still waiting for the kiss.
From me or from the muse?
Both.
The future masterpieces of contemporary Cuban painting are created here. Whether they are justifiably rather unknown is something that others need to decide. An invitation to a slideshow called Traditional Cigar Manufacturing Methods. No wonder that many men harbor fantasies about nurses. Good afternoon. Hello? I'm looking for a man named Perez. Manuel Perez. He's supposed to be a patient here. May I speak with him?
Perez? Yeah, he's here. And who are you?
I am Nina Castro. I think it would be better if I did not tell the whole world my name. As long as I don't know who's behind my father's kidnapping, it's better to be too careful than not enough.
Sorry, you can't come in here without a special permit.
But it's really important.
Important? It's really important for me to keep my job and my health. And naturally my incomparable good looks. That's what's really important.
I'm not asking you to release him. I just want to talk to him for a second.
Listen up, darling. Now that Mr. Gartuso has the say, and Nicole Charleroi was put in charge, we all have to really watch ourselves.
Massimo Gartuso? The American billionaire with a gigantic mobile phone company?
That's the one. And in Cuba, the saying goes, whoever pays decides what's for dinner. Is there anything else I can do for you?
The music sure is loud.
Yeah, great, isn't it? I just got the disc and I've been listening to it non-stop for the last 3 days. It really keeps me going. It even makes it fun to clean. Actually, I wanted to be a dancer, but the market in this region is pretty saturated. So I had to invent a new discipline, rhythmic cleaning. I clean to the exact beat of the music. It also helps fight fatigue. I came up with it a few weeks ago and have been perfecting my technique ever since. We'll see. Maybe if politics doesn't pan out, I can maybe offer a few courses for housewives. I think the demand for it is probably pretty high.
Yeah, I bet it is. Massimo Gartuso has bought himself a mental asylum in a sleepy town in Cuba. Don't you find that a bit strange?
I have my own theories, but I'd rather keep them to myself.
Come on, it could be really important.
Nothing is so important that a person could end up like...
Yes?
Nothing. Don't you think rhythmic cleaning would be a great business concept?
There are so many weird things happening here that I don't know where I should start being astonished. I have the feeling that it has to do with something real big. Unfortunately, my feelings do not tell me what that is. Are you afraid of your boss?
Me? Why should I?
I just had the impression.
It's misleading. It's definitely misleading.
She does want to talk. All I have to do is tickle her a little bit. The boss isn't even here, so you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that's also what Pedro thought, but then...
And then?
Nothing.
Charleroi is pressuring the workers to such a degree that they are almost shitting their pants from fear. I hope I won't have to clash with her on top of everything else. You said something about if politics doesn't pan out, you're a politician?
Not yet, and I stress the word yet. There is an election in 2 weeks if I want to run.
As a politician?
Yeah, sure. Anything against it?
No, of course not. So you think you have a good chance?
Yes, I think so. I am staggeringly gorgeous, and I have already, let's just say, convinced 20% of the voters.
Oh.
But I don't want to be just one of many. I want to be the next female mayor. Unfortunately, I still need some more votes for that, but I'll get them. If only I knew how to get them.
Oh, you want to jump straight to being the mayor. How modest. What's your election platform?
Platform? No one reads it anyway. The only problem is that I just have 2 weeks and I'm still behind 120 men.
Yeah, that's cutting it close. Maybe you should try getting a platform after all.
Oh, it's much too expensive and no one is interested anyway. I just have to be able to convince more people all at once of my qualifications is all.
You mean...
Yeah, well, do you have a better idea?
I'll think about it. If I think of something, I'll let you know. Then I'll leave you to your hip swing again. I'll just take one of them with me. The selection is done according to the proven method of random chance.
Only the staff is allowed in here.
He makes a curious impression with his teddy bear shirt. I don't know why, but he really scares me. Hello. That's a nice house of cards you're building there.
Yeah. And now be quiet or the thing will fall again.
This institution gives a somewhat, well, strange impression. Was it always like that? Could you tell me a bit about it? Maybe you've noticed something in particular.
Sure I can. But I won't. Otherwise I'll end up like... Oh, it doesn't matter.
No, it does matter. Otherwise, you'll end up like who?
Just like people who ask too many questions.
Can I borrow the copier for a second?
Sure. Bring down my house of cards. Steal my glory, my pride, my last bit of self-respect. The spark of hope in my dreary routine, the little bit...
Yeah, okay. I'll just wait until you're finished. Charleroi. She's the director of the institute here, right?
Is she here?
No, I don't think so.
Ooh, don't scare me like that again.
Are you afraid of her?
Me? No, of course not. Shay was also never afraid. On the other hand, Shay also never had anything to do with psychopathic scientists.
What do you mean?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
For this house of cards?
Money? No, not money. Glory. I'll be like my ancestors and go down in history.
As a house of cards builder?
Yes. Shay started the same way.
Che Guevara?
No. Chevrolet.
Okay, I understand. I'm going.
Okay. I have to hurry anyway before the earthquake starts again.
Earthquake?
Yeah, every afternoon. Just before I finish the tallest house of cards in the world, an earthquake comes and ruins everything again. But this time, I'll make it.
Watch out that your house of cards doesn't fall down.
Yeah, make sure you don't bring down my house of cards.
Hello? Are you a member of the staff?
Me? No, heaven forbid. I'm here to repave the courtyard with asphalt. But to do that, I have to remove the old asphalt first. It's terribly hard work in this heat. I can tell you that.
I can imagine. By the way, I'm Nina.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Bernard.
Why is the courtyard being repaved? It still looks good. I've seen streets at home that look much worse.
No idea. You're right, though. It really isn't worthwhile for just a couple of patients. Whatever. I don't really care.
Who hired you?
Some Italian-American, Massimo Gattuso or something like that.
Massimo Gattuso?
Yes. He wants the courtyard to be finished in 3 days. It's completely unrealistic.
But you don't know why this courtyard is supposed to be repaved?
No.
Strange. How come someone like Massimo Gattuso has the rear yard of a net house in a Cuban hick town surfaced with asphalt? Did you notice anything unusual about the Institute?
What do you mean by unusual? A couple of mentally challenged and a couple of doctors in a narrow room? At some point, it's difficult to differentiate between doctors and patients.
I feel the same way about dog owners. But did you notice anything unusual?
Apart from the fact that one of them is always screaming, screeching, or makes strange noises, truth be told, the Institute scares me a little.
Can you describe it a little more?
I don't know exactly. I just don't like it here. As soon as it gets dark, I make sure that I leave. And there isn't enough money in the world to get me to go in there.
Someone like him admitting just like that he is afraid without having a real reason for it? I should be cautious if I want to continue looking around here. Regarding your break...
Are you gonna deny me my break?
Oh no, of course not.
Good. It's short enough as it is. The old lady will start smoking again soon, and then my work starts again.
What do you mean?
The cook. As soon as I see black coming out of the chimney back there again, I have to go back to work.
Smoke as a signal to get back to work? That somehow seems familiar to me. Don't you have a watch?
Nah, I don't need one. The old lady is accurate down to the last second.
Does the name Nicole Charleroi mean anything to you?
Not really.
She's supposed to be the boss here. You must know her.
Oh, her. Oh, God. Keep her away from me.
That bad?
Worse. She seems nice at first, but she's something between a Valkyrie and a battle axe.
Charming.
You asked me. Am I supposed to lie to you?
No. Have you gotten to know her?
Believe me, it only takes a few seconds, and that's enough for me.
Do you know a man named Manuel Perez?
Who's that?
One of the people inside.
A patient?
Yes.
no idea. I haven't had any contact with them. It's prohibited by the management.
You have a bit of a stutter. Am I correct to assume that it's caused by a childhood trauma? Or did your first girlfriend disappoint you? What tragic story is behind it?
Have you ever worked 10 hours with a jackhammer and then tried to speak halfway normal?
Oh, no, not that I know of.
I thought so. Otherwise, you wouldn't ask a question like that.
Well, then enjoy the rest of your break.
I will.
The construct. The writing says, "Caution. The management of this institution received reports that in recent times, strange figures in black robes were seen in the vicinity of the institution. Anyone who has seen something conspicuous or unusual is to report this immediately to the director of the institute, Dr. Charleroi. Figures in black robes. They really appear to follow me everywhere. I have to finally find out who they are and what they really want." Laundry service. Next pickup Tuesday, 2:30 p.m. Laundry service. The food appears to have been tasty. The flies at least like it. A relatively small kitchen. It's obvious this hospital does not have all that many patients. Either that, or they are all on a diet. I'll pile the pieces of wood like I would have learned in the Girl Scouts, had I joined them. I knew that these kinds of pseudo-magazines could help in many situations. A bunch of a soup ladle. It's full of dirty laundry.
No door handle. I wonder why such a small and remote psychiatric hospital needs a doorman, especially since there is no parking available here. Hello, what's your muse up to?
Something that all women do, taking her time.
The woman in charge. What is she really like?
Miss Charleroi? No idea. I don't have any contact with her. She greets me when she arrives in the morning. I usually don't see her at night because she often stays in the institute until really late.
Any peculiarities?
Like I said, I almost never see her.
Nurse Sabrina, what do you think of her?
If I would tell you, you would say I was sexist.
Yes, her assets are apparently very apparent. And otherwise?
Otherwise, I unfortunately don't know her very well. Women of her caliber don't mess around with average-looking gatekeepers.
You just have to convince her of your qualities.
And those would be?
Well,
Yeah, thanks for the chat.
Could you perhaps paint a portrait of Nurse Sabrina?
Yeah, I guess so. Just a second. I've run out of black. I can't paint without black.
Okay, I'll take care of it. How long do you need?
Probably half a day.
You have 30 minutes.
There's no way. I need at least 3 hours.
Agreed. You have 1 hour.
It's no wonder that contemporary painters have never been able to equal the masters, if the artists are constantly rushed like this. Oh, one more thing. I can barely see Nurse Sabrina from here. She moves so gracefully, but she is also unbelievably fast. If she were to slow down a bit for a while...
I'm going to see if I can at least temporarily control the woman's hyperactivity somewhat. Then you could start painting the portrait?
Like I said, I can only paint Nurse Sabrina if I have black paint and a subject that isn't constantly jumping around.
I'll leave you alone with your muse now.
Thanks. I'm still waiting for the kiss.
From me or from the muse?
Both.
Hello, would you like to join my party? Or sign up for my rhythmic cleaning?
I need a little time to think about it.
Okay, just let me know.
He makes a curious... How's the attempt on the record going?
I'm gonna make it. This time, I'll make it for sure.
One of these magazines should last.
The record turns more slowly due to the weight. Still, sounds pretty good. It is really astonishing how the old tricks continue to work again and again. I think I will have to pull the coals out of the fire. I didn't find any black paint. Do you think a piece of coal will work too?
Yes. Coal should work too.
Do you have everything you need for the portrait now?
Yes, I think so. She's a little hard to see from here, but I'll try. It looks great, considering it was painted in 60 minutes. I think I've outdone myself again. Don't you think?
Yes, it's really nice. And her best features are emphasized perfectly. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. I'll put the masterpiece in a bag for you so it doesn't get dirty.
I'll leave you alone with your muse now.
Thanks. I'm still waiting for the kiss.
From me or from the muse?
Both.
Look at this. What do you think?
Oh, that's pretty. And the woman is a knockout. Oh, that's me. Oh, I always knew I was pretty, but so stunning.
Yeah, and so modest. I thought you could use it as a campaign poster.
Yeah, great idea. But one isn't enough, is it?
Women, give them a hand and they'll rip off the whole arm. If I help you out with a few more pictures, you have to help me too, okay?
Yeah, okay. And I also promise no new taxes.
Exactly. And no one wants to build a wall. I can already see you could make a really good politician. I'll see if I can come up with a few more campaign posters. Then I'll leave you to your hip swing again. The earthquake has begun. Nina, sometimes you are really bad.
poor guy will surely need them for his next attempt at the record. I used up all the copier paper. That should be enough for a campaign to cover all of Cuba. Here are the campaign posters. There's no longer anything standing in the way of your political career.
Beautiful, simply beautiful. Who could resist this woman?
No one. Help me now.
Sure, I've given you my word as a politician, haven't I?
Will you help me anyway?
Fine, just this once, but watch out for Ramon. He's the caretaker here, and if he finds you, he'll make mincemeat out of you. So hurry. Perez's cell is all the way at the end on the left.
The cell is empty? Is this supposed to be a joke? Or do the staff not know where their patients are at any given time? It looks like blood. Looks as if someone tried to break the tiles out of the wall in a certain pattern. But I just can't think what it is supposed to mean. Isn't there something stuck between the mattress and the frame? There is. A newspaper article. It deals with the new appointment for the post of institution director. Next to the article is a large photograph of that Nicole Charleroi. As long as this Ramon guy isn't here, I really should take my time looking around here. Who knows if I'll have the opportunity to do it later. The mattress is full of yellow and red stains. I don't want to know what caused them. A camera has been mounted up there. Wonder if it works. Small grooves in the wall. Almost looks like scratches. There is something in one of the grooves. Those are fingernails. Sorry, may I disturb you again?
But of course, darling, anytime. I could use a little distraction.
Perez's cell is empty. Where is your patient?
Empty? What do you mean, empty?
I mean empty. No one there, all gone, little going on there. In short, it's empty.
That can't be. The doctor, she'll kill me.
Does that mean you really don't know where Perez is?
No, Ramon?
Yeah?
Where is Perez?
How come?
He's not in his cell, so where is Perez?
He's gone. I've already informed the doctor. She'll take care of it.
Take care of it? Then will she take care of us too?
I don't think so. She sounded really calm. Don't worry. Nothing's going to happen. I'm going to take care of the patient's beds here first. They need to be changed pretty badly. We'll talk after work, okay?
Yeah, we should do that. Sorry, I didn't know. You heard for yourself. Oh, Lord, watch over us.
Damn. I've flown thousands of miles just to find out that this Perez has disappeared. But I am not giving up that easily. I mean, he can't have dissolved into thin air. Is the camera in Manuel Perez's cell? Is it turned on?
I think so. Charleroi mounted it, or more precisely, had it mounted.
Is there anywhere to see what the camera has recorded?
Sure, it would certainly be possible in the control room.
Can I look at it?
No, I can't let anyone in.
Come on, you owe me one.
Sorry, I don't have a key. Only Ramon and the boss have keys.
Then I'll leave you to your hip swing again.
attach the canvas correctly, then hopefully the door will not close the next time. The individual cells can be monitored from here. However, some of the monitors are only flickering. Some have been turned off altogether. An old furniture-type safe. The latest models. Wonder if they also were financed by this Massimo Gartuzzo guy. The individual cells can be monitored from here. However, some of the monitors are only flickering. Some have been turned off altogether. An old How am I supposed to unlock this lock? Maybe I'll find a clue to the correct combination somewhere in here. One, 4, 2, 8. I wonder if the safe will open now. All right! I'm a genius! There are tapes in there with writing on them. A. Carlos, J. Sanchez, S. Martinez, M. Perez. Here it is. I hope that it will help me somehow. I'm really eager to see what's on it.
What are you doing here?
I came to see if you're helping a patient escape.
What do you mean?
You know exactly what I mean.
Too bad. I don't actually like violence, but you leave me no choice. You'll go down before I do.
No, wait! I don't want to rat you out. I just need to find Manuel Perez really badly. He's my only hope.
Only hope?
Perez was with my father on an expedition many years ago. Now my father disappeared without a trace, and I hope that Perez can help me find him.
Manuel help someone? He's the one who needs to be helped.
How come?
Because he... Never mind. So you really don't want to hurt him?
No, definitely not.
Okay, I'll help you. Just don't tell anyone I did, otherwise I've had it. The doctor doesn't stand for any nonsense.
The doctor doesn't seem to be the most fun person anyway. Why?
You have no idea what they're doing with Perez here?
No, how should I?
He was brought here a few months ago at the request of a guy named Gartuzzo. He was also the one who put Charles Roy in charge. And then the horror began.
Let me guess. Human experiments?
Yeah? How did you know?
That's not important right now. Do you know what the goals of these experiments are?
No. It's probably because Manuel's disease is somehow special. 2 other people were also flown in, but they disappeared again soon thereafter. It has to be about something big. In the last few months, they've invested nearly $1 million in this asylum. Our salaries doubled in one fell swoop. But money isn't everything, and the price of a human life is too high, in my opinion. I wanted out sooner, but the boss said, whoever wants to get out now is gone forever. So I lost my confidence.
I understand, but I need to find Perez badly. The longer it takes me to find my father, the greater the probability that he...
Okay, I'll help you. Perez is hidden in a rock cave not very far from here. But you can't take him with you. I'll come in a couple of hours and take care of him. I know a lot of people here who will hide us.
Agreed. Take care of yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Are you Manuel Perez? Hello? Can you understand me? I don't know if he understands me, but when I addressed him, he looked me in the eyes and smiled, almost as if he recognized me. This Evank in the Tunguska region reacted the same way. Maybe he really did recognize somebody, namely, my father. What did they do to you in the Institute? And more importantly, why? What did they want from you? He appears to be afraid of the subject. He must have experienced some bad things in the hospital. I shouldn't torture him with it any further, even if it is important to me. My father disappeared. He was probably kidnapped. I take it that the reason he was kidnapped had something to do with his past. You worked with him for so many years. Do you know of anything that could, after so long a time, catch up to him? It's obvious he wants to tell me something, but I have no idea what. What happened back then during the Tunguska expedition? Try to remember. It could be very important. Either he can't remember anything, or he does not want to talk about it. I'll just take the picture with me again. Maybe Perez can put his thoughts down to paper somehow, since he obviously cannot express himself in words. It's worth a try. Perez drew some kind of symbol. I have no idea what it's supposed to mean, but it doesn't appear to be chaotic scribbling. The symbol can be recognized clearly and plainly, and the lines are so straight, as if they had been drawn with a ruler. Now the only question that remains is how that is going to help me. I'm going to send Max a text message and a picture of the symbol. Maybe he has an idea.
Morangi must live here somewhere nearby, if he's still alive. Hopefully the locals can help me.